Hello, everyone. So this is Durf here again, and we have a very special episode today because we have Uncle Thomas, who is Tamas Kish from Kish and Company, the husband of the legendary Helen Kish, and also we have my dad here, Paul. I don't think he's ever been on camera. Um, yeah, so we're very lucky to have him, and of course we have my mom, and all three of them actually go back many, many years, and they have been friends many, many years. And I still remember that the first time I met Uncle Thomas, I think I was a teenager. Not a very good one. Maybe Uncle Thomas will remember how good I was. Well, he will sugarcoat me this time, I guess. But anyway, yeah. It's so nice that Uncle Thomas came to Hong Kong, and we're having a friend renaissance where all three of them are meeting and talking to each other, and we would love to hear stories about them. So today we're going to pass the mic over. And we're going to ask some questions, and it's just an open forum. Everyone's just going to talk, and just say what you remember and what other stories, and maybe we should probably start with maybe how did you three first meet? So maybe Uncle Thomas, can you start first?
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me here. And of course, I'm very, very pleased to be here with my extended family. Now, you heard that Frederick called me Uncle Tom. Well, it is because I'm part of this family here. I've been here on birthdays and weddings and all kind of special occasions, and I feel very close. As a matter of fact, give you something news about relationship. Paul is my lost brother. We found out that figured out that a long time ago we missed the connection, and we find him, and we are
There's a
very
resemblance there.
yeah. Look at that. It's very close. And of course, Paul is a very lucky man because a beautiful Ruby. I mean, she's a wonderful, and not only she's not only beautiful, but she's very talented. Of course, you've seen her work, you know her work already. And I don't know about Frederick, because if you can say too many good things, it's don't. No, I'm joking. So anyway, maybe just a little bit about our relationship, how far we go back. We go back very, very far. And time-wise, many years ago, we started when Helen started to create dolls. We did that in the U.S. in our home, and then we moved to Spain. So we were manufacturing our dolls in Spain in the early 90s. And one thing that is very important, not a lot of people know it, but what happened is Helen always demanded the best in quality. And she would say that I'm not going to do this unless everybody's happy with my work, and I'm not going to use any substandard products or items. And only way I do this if it's the absolute best. Well, guess what? We found out that even Spain, when we were manufacturing in Spain, the Spanish company used products that Ruby was creating and Paul was manufacturing for our dolls. So that one of the toy fairs or fairs in Spain in the early 90s, they introduced us to Ruby and Paul, and that was our earliest uh, meeting and when we met. A number of years later, when we stopped working with Spain, they joined the European Union, and there were some problems with deliveries and so forth. And then we said, well, maybe we should go ahead and contact Ruby and Paul and work with them. And so that's when our working relation started with them. And of course, again, just repeating myself, the reason we've been working with them for several reasons. One is the best anywhere. I guarantee you, you're not going to find any better quality, that they put their heart and soul in everything that they do. So the quality is wonderful. Another thing that with I would say I can say that not once they let me down. if you understand manufacturing, there are so many companies tell you that, well, I will have it, don't worry, and I will ship it this time and that time, and they lie to you, or they usually you don't get it on time. There's something happens, and they have excuses and excuses. Ever since we started work with them, not once they let us down. We got when they were promised something, it arrived on time, and we never had any quality issues. So we are very proud of that, and we are very happy to know someone who's has the same ideals and same concepts about quality and making people happy as Helen. And as you know, those of you who know Helen, that her quality is just outstanding. She would not do anything unless it's the best.
Yeah.
So when let me think here a second. Yeah, talking about deliveries and not letting us down. I could call Paul and say, Paul, I really need this $1,000 tomorrow morning, and he would be honest and say, Thomas, I'm sorry, I can't do that tomorrow morning, but tomorrow night you will have it. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, but it's a when you have a relationship in business, it's very important to meet your word and your commitments and don't keep changing timeline. And it's really, I can say that very dependable, very honest, and wonderful family that I'm part of.
Wow, that is a great story. Thank you for the introduction. And what about Dad? What do you remember about your first meeting with Uncle Thomas?
Well, actually, it's Helen Kish, the design, the beauty that attracted to me to a Kish Company. Okay, Thomas is the back office manager, I guess.
Well,
Who makes things happen.
like Paul. We do the same thing. We have our queens, and they are beautiful, and they are very talented, and we support them, right?
You
We
said
do
it
the same
right.
thing, yes.
The term queen.
Yes.
I mean that's a term that we respect. Okay. Uh, yeah. No, Helen just designs. I mean, her design is out of this world.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's exquisite. It's got a charm that it's hard to describe. It just attracts you. It grabs you. You know, and working with such a designer is a delight. Okay, and Thomas helped to make it happen. That was very good. As for our company, my wife Ruby, she's the soul and driving force behind it, and she's equally creative. I think she's almost as good as Helen.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, in terms of
Right.
design.
Yeah.
Okay, but in production and everything, I think she excels.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very kind.
All right. What about my mom? See if she has something to say.
Yeah, I remember that's the 1985 or 4. I met Thomas and Helen in Nuremberg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
there you
yeah,
go.
the-
Okay.
yeah.
Even
That
earlier,
time,
yes.
yeah, that time Helen Kish is very famous. Yeah,
She's still very
very
famous
now still very
Still
famous.
very
It's very that time I'm just a small potato. Small potato, yeah. I just make the wig. Then we work with the Helen. I learn a lot. I learn a lot. The Helen is a very detailed person. Yeah, and the color match is wonderful. So we be visit you in the Denver. Yeah, I see the home decoration is very great. Yeah,
Very
and
true.
so many fabric at home. Yeah, see the fabric. Yeah, the fabric is now is very empty. Yeah, so uh, we work together. It's very very happy, and now with the friendship is continue, and we are the the like the happy family.
Yeah, it's beyond business.
Yeah,
It's
beyond
more of a
yes,
getting together, the
that together.
family. Yes.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Thomas, you come and visit us
Very happy to
there.
be here.
Now it's 14, almost 14 years, yeah. And
14.
we are getting still younger. Yes, still younger. So we still keeping work.
Yes.
Yeah, keeping to talk with the people. Yeah. Thank you, Thomas.
Well, I'll talk about my story. I've known, of course, the Kishes, Uncle Thomas and Auntie Helen from a very young age. But the earliest memory I have, maybe I've met you earlier, but the earliest memory I have was I think I was a teenager, and then my parents, Uncle Thomas and Auntie Helen, they were both in Hong Kong, and we went to a hotel in the Gold Coast of Hong Kong, and we had lunch there. And I be very honest. At first, I did not know who Uncle Thomas and Auntie Helen was. I didn't want to go, but the Gold Coast intrigued me because I thought there was gold. So anyway, I went there, and then of course my parents they were talking to Uncle Thomas and Auntie Helen. I was there with my brother, and I think I was around 10 or 12 or something. And um, my impression, of course, until now, so Uncle Thomas and Auntie Helen are the nicest people that you ever meet. And they're so kind. They always smile to me. They always tell jokes to me, and they always sugarcoat me. And even back then, I think I was a little not interested in the business talks. So me and my brother, we were, I don't know, fooling around and like running around the table. And Auntie Helen and Uncle Thomas, they didn't mind. They still had the biggest smiles, and they were still when we left. I think Uncle Thomas was, oh, these are the best boys you have, Ruby. So yeah, Uncle Thomas compliments me wherever I go, and this continues on. And I remember when I first went to UFDC, I think it was UFDC or IDEX, right? And my dad gave me the task to help Uncle Thomas set up his booth, and that was when I really, really understood the scope of how Uncle Thomas supported Auntie Helen, because Auntie Helen, she's the artist, so she does all the sculpts, she does all the designs, right? But there's a lot of work beyond that. So Uncle Thomas sets up the stage. He drives and put up all these. He drives all the equipment over to the show, set up this huge I don't know how to call it, like a huge fence where you can hang things up, right? And he does all the photography. He does all the video taking. He does all these, and that was like, wow, that's a lot of work. And of course, because Auntie Helen is the artist, so she gets the huge spotlight. But Uncle Thomas does equal, if not more, work than Auntie Helen. I remember. Yeah, I think you.
Don't play me up so much.
Well, it's true, right? And I remember because Uncle Thomas I've always known as the very very kind one, right? And then my dad gave me the task to help him out on setting up the fence, and then I was like, uh-oh. So the kind Uncle Thomas might become like the mean boss when I start working for him. So I went there. I didn't know how to do anything. Oops. Okay, that is sacrilegious, but it fell. But anyway, casualty, yes. But see, Uncle Thomas always spins the ways and to nice things. But anyway, so I was setting up the fence and I didn't know how to do it, and I was really scared, right? And then I was doing a lot of things, and I didn't. There were times where I just couldn't continue because I don't know how to do it. And Uncle Thomas was like, "Don't worry, just sit at the side, and I'll do it for you," right? So I think he did. At the end, he still did way more work than I did, and I was just sitting beside. And then at the end of the day, when my dad came to pick me up, And my dad was like, Thomas, how did my son do? Uncle Thomas was like, oh, he is the best. He like did all the work, and like he's like, yeah, he deserves a raise. So of course I like that compliment. But this really shows how they are. So Uncle Thomas, just the nicest, one of the nicest people in the world that we met. And I really really also admire him because he also really focuses on human relationships, because he insists that every before COVID years he comes here every single year. He insists on visiting us. He even went to my brother's wedding, right? So yeah, he really means it when we're like a family. He thinks that, like, business should not only be all numbers and things. It's the personal relationship that really counts. And I really really take that to heart. And every year I we go to UFDC, and the first email I always send out that for the first meeting is not to UFDCs, not others, but Uncle Thomas, can we have a dinner again like old times, right? So we do that every single year, and I really treasure that kind of relationship. And this also helped me in business. This also helped me build relationships, and I think a lot of you out there, although we don't see it as often, but um, I do actually try to reach out and have that human contact, because there's so much more to just dolls. There's so much. The human connection here is something that's very valuable. So I learned this from Uncle Thomas. Um, yeah. So this is my. I don't think I've told Uncle Thomas about all those things, but this is my memory of him. And
Thank you,
yeah,
thank you, Frederick. And something I guess it's been is a, you can as another man is building up the man here, Paul and me. But I think we need to talk about a little bit more of the real stars of this company. Both companies is Ruby and Helen. It's important to know and tell you the truth that Helen has extremely high expectations and demands, and she worked with Ruby on projects where Ruby did some of the design and Helen did the sculpting aspects of it.
Yeah.
And she doesn't just work with anyone who wants to work with her. So it really shows that Ruby has an incredible talent, and she's a beautiful talented designer just like Helen. If you see all these dolls here, of course, I'm sure you know her dolls now. There's a reason that she's doing such a beautiful job, and it's because she's good, she's talented, and Helen appreciates it, and we've been working together.
Yeah.
And it's an honor to know her and
Yeah.
be part of this
Yeah.
conversation here.
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe we should ask my mom. How does it feel like working with Helen? Do you learn a lot? Maybe.
It's because she have very sharp eyes. I like the color, and she can make a fabric, how to match, yeah. The color
Combination.
combination is very good,
Yeah.
very good, yeah.
So yeah, one thing that my mom also, she speaks in Chinese, of course, most of the time. But one thing, I'm translating from Chinese. She always says that design is not more like, like something that not like a spark, but more like like having this thing that a lot of things come together, like a great ambiance, and how the colors match. It's more like a collective thing than a single point of focus. So that's why my mom always says, like, okay, when you look at the doll, you have to look at the balance between like the colors, how they match, the cutting, if the top and the bottom, do they fit, and also like even for with like sculpting, right? She always say like something maybe on the right side of face. If it's not done well, it might affect the left side too. So it's more about balance, right? She always talks about balance.
Yeah.
It's talking
And
about
the door just the door just like Helen. The lips
Yeah.
just Helen's lip.
Yeah.
The old doll, yeah.
Yeah. The Helen Kish, of course, they have the iconic lips, right? And yeah, it's a like little puffy, but it's really really cute.
Yeah.
And yeah, my mom always just going back when she says Auntie Helen has an eye for how things come together. She really means it because she talks about that. Well, I've been to her designs. I cannot help too much because I don't have that eye, but she always like praises people who can really make things fit together. So I think that speaks some a testament to Auntie Helen. All right.
All right.
I
I
would
still
so.
remember. What's your favorite?
Yeah.
Chicken feet. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes back. I grew up in Hungary. I'm sure you hear a slight accent here. And in Hungary, like many countries outside the US, we eat pretty much everything that comes from a chicken.
Yeah.
And we used to have a chicken feet. I would fight my brother
Yeah.
over who's gonna have it. And so one day I was here and they're taking me out to lunch. And here you can, some restaurants, you'll see chicken feet dish on a table that they would start, it's like an appetizer. And as soon as they saw me walking in, there were some, the waiters were told that, oh, here is this American, and they don't like chicken feet. They can't stand it. So they were running around picking up all the chicken feet from the tables and hiding it. And I said, hey, hang on, chicken feet, bring it back. So I think that was kind of a fun lunch. They were looking at me and said, he's a strange American. He eats chicken feet.
Yeah. So
But it was going back to,
we
yeah.
spend a very good time together, work together. Yeah. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah. So again, yeah, I think now COVID is over. I think we'll still go to EFTC. We still meet once a year, and yeah, I think we can go for another 20 years, and hopefully they're already my parents and them they're already talking about like doing other things than dolls, like having like hikes or some walking or some other talent. So that would be fun. Yeah.
Well, I think you are trying to push them out. You want to take over here. I don't think you should do that. You're going to be lost without them. But no, anyway, I'm just joking again. And it's wonderful that I'm very proud of Frederick. He loves his parents and he really cares about everything. He's a great, great new upcoming manager. He's behind a lot of this work. And matter of fact, I tried to talk him into to go to Hollywood and start working on dolls because I'm sure those of you who have seen him in action and meetings, he's really good in with presentations, and I'm very proud of him. He's a great, great young man.
Thank you, Uncle Thomas. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I think that is a brief start introduction to our little story. Why don't we move on just to the next topic? What is our we'll talk about our favorite dolls, right? And I think I have mentioned my favorite doll in one of the episodes before already. So it's Valencia, if I didn't remember wrong, if you guys still remember. But today is not about me. Why don't I'm also interested to know what is Uncle Thomas's favorite doll and what is my mom's favorite doll, and maybe there's some collaboration or something that some stories behind that. So I would like to know. So Uncle Thomas, do you want to start answering that
Well,
question?
it's hard to talk about favorite dolls. I mean, both Helen and Ruby did thousands of unbelievable number of dolls, and I'm not even sure how they can remember all the names. One of the favorite ones, it was a recent edition, I think, year or 2 years old, the little flower. And those of you who didn't get it missed out on this because this was one of the best cooperation between Ruby and Helen. Ruby did all the clothing designs and did a fantastic, fantastic job. Sculpting is done by Helen. And so it was a beautiful project that I'm very proud of. And so it's one of the most recent one that Helen and Ruby worked together creating it.
Yeah, we'll put that the picture of the little flower on the screen later on, so everyone can have a take a look. But what about my mom? What is your most memorable doll that you work with, Helen, Miss Auntie Helen? 有冇個最記得你自己同 Auntie Helen？
Yeah, the first door is shot to me is the yeah 火柴個女孩
Little magical?
Little magical, yeah.
Yeah.
Little magical, yeah.
yeah
Goes back
little
a long
magical
time ago,
long
yeah.
time
Yeah.
14 years
Yes.
14
Yes.
years.
14 years
14
yeah.
years, yeah.
I still remember
Yeah.
yeah
That's more
Yeah.
than 40 or
yeah 14 years
40 or 14?
no
It's more than
40
Wow.
Yeah.
40
yeah
years.
40
Yeah, because Helen started sculpt in the 80s, and I
Yeah.
think you talked about that. Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
14 years
Yeah.
Well, I don't, because 40 years ago,
Yeah.
I was still not born yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because Helen designed the door. Every door have the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the door history. Yeah.
So I don't know. For all the viewers out there, we will try to find that doll, the little match girl, I guess, as
Yeah.
it's called. We'll try to find the girl and put a picture up. But we'll try our best to see if we can have one. But what about my dad? What do you think? I know the designs are all usually my mom, and you are more on the other sides of the company. But anything you remember about working with Auntie Helen?
Yeah, come to the favorite doll. It will have to be the little match girl.
As well.
You know, it's so exquisite. And you know, Helen's design is just heavenly. Her design actually belongs in the museum. It's work of art. But Helen makes so many dolls anyway. So, and she's making modern dolls, as I understand. But her design capability just amazes me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the very important part of this, Ruby just mentioned that she loves her work, and we know that we have that. It's kind of a cliche, but if you love what you do, you don't work. So neither Helen or Ruby worked. Same time, they worked very, very hard, and they did incredible designs and so many beautiful dolls, and they brought a lot of happiness for many of you, and I'm sure that you are, as doll collectors, appreciate their hard work and what they put in. And everyone, I think that there are many dolls out in the world, but one way I would try to give you a description of Helen's work and Ruby's work is that every one of their doll has a little bit of their soul in it.
Yeah.
It's not just a cold manufactured piece of vinyl and hair or whatever. They put a little bit of their soul in everyone. You can feel it when you touch it, when you pick it up. It is really just something that changed your life, and it's not just another item that you got somewhere.
All right. Well, yeah, I really agree because I mean, over the years, I've seen my mom and Auntie Helen. They keep on talking about
Yeah.
details and specifics, and they really, they spend a lot of time, like perfecting. I remember that the sculpts of the hands and everything. So, yeah, they really put their soul inside. So, we have questions for Uncle Thomas. Again, I think I've talked about this earlier today, but there's a lot of behind the scenes work besides just sculpting and designing a doll. There's a lot of things that you do to support the designer. So I know that because I've seen my dad support my mom, right? And to the point that yep, my dad would I don't want to use the word suffer, but there are a lot of things that are behind the scene that like yeah, if it's me, I'll be crying already. But yeah, from eyewitnessing all these things, I'm sure Uncle Thomas has done a lot too. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yes, thank you. Um, Coming to Hong Kong, it's a wonderful experience, and I'm not only because I have my extended family here, but a beautiful city. I feel it's one among the most welcoming city for those who never been here. Actually, it's my favorite, number one favorite location to visit. And if you have a chance, come to Hong Kong. The lights and the people, and it's a safe place and clean. I'm here with my friend this time, and my friend Peter, and he just keeps saying that I can't believe I've never seen a clean city like that. It's a very clean city and well organized. People are very helpful and very accommodating to your and they very helpful. And of course, I'm sure if you can get to Hong Kong, and maybe you can get together a group of people, they'd be more than happy to take you to the factory and give you a factory tour. I would say it's a lifetime experience to do that, and talk your friends into coming to Hong Kong and have a small convention, mini convention, and they will give you a wonderful surprise. Now, another thought I would like to share, um, for us, Paul and Frederick and myself, we've been behind this work that Ruby and Helen is creating, and it's very important for them to have a support, and that support that we give them is really very helpful because they don't have to worry about the business aspect of it. And of course, like every business, you have to there is a business, the creative end, and there is the business aspect. And so our mission is not to be creative and tell them what to do or how to do it. Matter of fact, I don't even dare to tell Helen, and I'm sure that Paul or Frederick would never dare to tell Ruby how to do things or what to do. I mean, I would be in trouble. But on the other hand, if you send them a note, they will love to hear from you, and they would love to hear what you love and what you would like to see, because it's really giving them extra energy, and it's a wonderful thing to hear from the collectors. They want they don't appreciate anything more than your support and your notes. So thank you for watching this video, and have a wonderful time day.
Good.
Yep. Thank you, Uncle Thomas, for sharing everything. But yeah, thank you for joining us, and it is we really treasure every moment with you, and may time passes by very quickly, and soon, like by the time you know it, it'll be next year, and Uncle Thomas will be here again, and we'll be doing this again. So, yep. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.